just find a way. Just find a way to keep doing what you want to do. And so that's what drives me.
My inborn passion for myself and my country.
We are going to be trendsetters, we're going to be the trailblazers, we're going to change things.
Designed to be this woman who should at least make a difference in someone's life.
Ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. The words of John F. Kennedy, 35th President of the United States of America. 30-year-old Bernadette Deka has taken these words to heart. Born in a family of 8, she shares her humble upbringing.
So Bernadette Deka is a 30-year-old Zambian female, very passionate about the country, Zambia, my country. Passionate about governance issues that concerns the general citizenry. And this passion stems back from when I was growing up. So it's an inborn passion. Come from a family of 8. I'm a 5th born, number 5, out of 2 beautiful souls, my parents, my mother and my father. My father having actually been a civil servant for a very long time, and my mother a small-scale farmer. And they raised us up in a very, very humble background, but we have been nurtured to become the best we can and give back to them as parents and the community at large, as well as my country. Growing up, my fondest memory draws me back to the times that we would go into the field during holiday times in December, that's rain season. And all of us had to at least, help weeding. And we'd do it in a group, so everybody was there. Those out in boarding schools were home, and so just being in a big family and feeling all the love from siblings, I think that is my fondest memory growing up, because everyone was available. But right now, we are all scattered. Others, I have a brother in America, I have a brother outside town, I have sisters we are all over, we are scattered. So everyone doing their own thing. And once in a while we do, come together during Easter or Christmas, the festivities. But my memories are really, really fondly recollected when I think of a time together with my family.
She describes her school background as ordinary, but sacrifices had to be made for her to reach the heights she has today. And moving to South Africa was a step in the right direction.
I started at Simon Mwasakapwepwe Primary School here in Lusaka, and then in grade 4 we moved to Kasisi when my parents moved to a farm, Kasisi Primary School, where I graduated from grade 7. From there I went to Roma Girls Secondary School from grade 8 to grade 12, and then I came to University of Zambia here in Lusaka. From University of Zambia I went to South Africa to actually pursue my other dreams, where I joined the New Partnership for Africa's Development, NEPAD. I think that was around 21 years old, so I was one of the youngest, in fact the youngest to serve in NEPAD at that time. And I trotted Africa, I saw Djibouti, and got to understand the African agenda, marrying it to Zambia and our national development agenda, and seeing how other countries are actually performing, especially with regards to joining in regional treaties as well, and how Zambia is faring if we are paying our dues to certain commitments that we need to as a country.
Her love for development and social welfare in the community prepared her for bigger roles in her life.
So I think my journey, my career actually starts from elementary school, back in primary school. There was a program called Child to Child. I remember very well, I used to give poems, child to child, for survival, development, and a health nation. So I remember that very well. And from there, I would represent a school in different, maybe developmental activities and things to do with social welfare. Went to Roma Girls in grade 8, found a group called UNESCO. I wasn't very passionate about joining it, but somebody just said, okay, you are so well cognizant with things of civic matters at a tender age. Why don't you join the group? Little did I realize that I would actually head the group. Going into grade 9, there was what was called Zambia Model United Nations. I joined it passionately because I really wanted to understand. And this is funny, I could even skip classes for French, and that's how come I'm so bad in French. And later on, I actually realized that I needed that second language. But I could skip classes just to go and lock up myself in the library so that I can understand different United Nations agencies, how they operate, other countries, the status of countries. You know, growing up, we were hearing of Luxembourg, Bosnia and Herzegovina, you know, all those countries that were war-torn as well, Afghanistan at that time. So I needed to understand all that well-breast. So the Secretariat for the Zambia Model United Nations was at ISL, the International School of Lusaka. And this organization was actually propelled by international schools. So Roma Girls, having been a Catholic and half government school, really did well in trying to push pupils to actually join in and also participate on that level. It is out of this background, we sat in the General Assembly in one of the sessions at Mulungushi Conference Center. I remember former Vice President Nevas Mumba came to officiate. And then in the evening, when we had to now change, when they had to call a new secretariat, because per year after the general conference, they would change names of secretariat, sort of an annual general conference sort of thing, where per year you bring in a new secretariat. My name was called out. This position of junior resolutions director goes to Bernadette Deka, and then I sat there because I didn't believe or ever think that such a position would go to someone from a government school, you know, because it was really, really championed by all these international schools like Simba International. So this was a club for these elite schools, and I did not think that I would actually be there. All I was doing for me to reach there was being me. I was participating passionately. My friends said, Bernadette, it's you. It's your name. Because what I heard was Roma Girls, you know, in jubilation. So I was thinking, I'm looking at everyone. So and my name wasn't well pronounced. I remember the past president at that time had been James McLachlan from ISL, and he says, Bernadette Deka. So everyone, all the Roma girls just went up and so I'm thinking, why is it that my school and other government schools are clapping? So I said, you go, you've been called out. I said, called out to where? Called out to the top. You know, and then I had to go meet former Vice President Nevas Mumba. And he congratulated me, not being racial, but I was the first black girl to serve on that secretariat, actually from the normal schools. Yeah.
Bernadette's love for social change and her passion to participate in the community made her a source of news for the press. It did not just end there. She also contributed through writings on issues of importance for the Zambian youth.
There was a paper called Trendsetters at that time. And from time to time, I found myself being covered in there. How, I didn't even know, because you know how I would go represent my school in different forums. And there it was, my story, my pictures being taken. I was in the media from time to time. And this was still junior secondary school. Came up to senior secondary school, still at Roma Girls. And I think I was an average student. I don't know why people say she was one of the best students at Roma Girls. I was really an average student. How I found myself, because there were two classes, Class A and Class B. Class A took pure sciences, depending on your behavior and also your marks that you scored from grade 9 transiting to grade 10. And there was also a B class which took physical sciences. So I was so sure that I would go to B class. I don't know how I found myself in the A class, and I did pure sciences. That time it was quite a fuss, yeah, to be in such a class. And there we were. We scored quite a number of awards. Received quite a number of awards. I remember I took up the literature award in grade 12, the best, in school, and everything came as a surprise. As I was growing up, this is why I feel that my life is actually predestined, because for every step that I took, and everything that I did it passionately, thinking I'm just being me. But then little did I realize that I would actually get an applause, or someone will clap, or there'll be an award following. Then that is how come I was always caught unaware. So I would be called up all the time, caught unaware, because I never used to prepare for things like that. So it's inherent.
Bernadette has represented the country at different fora, now working as Executive Director at the Policy Monitoring and Research Center, an organization that researches and analyzes on national policy in Zambia. She describes youth participation as the best story a young person can tell.
I then joined the National Youth Parliament. There's a lot that I learned from bills, statutory instruments, the laws of Zambia, policies especially. And it is from when I started reading policies and going through these model bills that we had to present in the National Youth Parliament, propelled by the Commonwealth Youth Parliament. It is from that angle that I developed a passion to speak for young people, because I saw a lot of lacunas, a lot of things that were missing for the youth that could have been there. It was just a matter of engaging the young people themselves to speak up for themselves, to say that, look, we are aware that there's this thing, there's the National Youth Policy, there are recreational activities that are meant for us. There's an issue of human rights that young people did not know about, and for example, at that time, corporal punishment even in schools was intense. So we needed to speak out. Our friends who are physically and intellectually disabled, all those kind of people, had to speak on their behalf, and yet they can speak on their own. They're young people. They can talk about the things that concern them or affect them or adversely affect them every day. Issues of Braille in schools, issues of sign language interpretations in schools and in different national forums. So I said, how do I do this? Then one day I woke up, I found myself also again in the newspaper, I think that was Daily Mail, where I was actually captured talking about representation of the disabled. And then I said, oh wow, this is a story told. And I saw many reactions coming thereafter through radio programs where they were citing that, oh, this young person, this is what they said about this and that. So I said, okay, this is just about having a forum. Fine. So as I was thinking about it, and having attended so many careers guidance networks at Roma Girls, and I must commend my secondary school that I attended, they had quite a number of these career guidance activities and events that provided a platform for young people to hear from their mentors and people that we could only see on TV and read in newspapers. Through that, I met a man called Garth Chenda, who was very impressed with my questions and said, let me link you up to a lady called Lucy Muyoeta. At that time, Madam Lucy Muyoeta was at NGOCC, and with also mom in the struggle, Mrs. Emily Sikazwe, and who really groomed me to be. I think she really has a bearing on whatever I'm doing today. Through that, the Post picked me up through Webster Malido. They said, you know what, why don't you have a column in our newspaper, a daily column under the education post, so that you can speak out these things. And at that time, I was already in full-time employment. I just didn't know it. I thought it was activism because I wasn't getting paid a salary. Well, there were allowances, lots of allowances, because I traveled around the country to review the national youth policy through different forums as well, and representing different youth networks. I wrote for the Post. I had a voice. I graduated to the main paper just before I actually went to University of Zambia. By the time I was 19, I was already, I can say, a national icon, because at that time, it wasn't like now where everyone has access to media. It's social media. Anyone can wake up and, do a unique thing or a silly thing or a remarkable thing, and it'll be all over social media, and next day mainstream media will pick it up. But at that time, to be in the media, it had to be something very, very, I think, important. Why is it important for young people to take part in national development? I'll give a very straight answer before I can go into. I can go on a, looking at it from a broader perspective. Why is me? I'm an example. Had I not had such a road to take part in national affairs when I was a little girl, then I shudder to imagine I'd have been given a chance to actually serve, to head a public policy think tank. At that time, I was only 27 years old when I was appointed by the now President of the Republic of Zambia to head such an organization. I think it's highly influential. I think we're shaping policy as well in Zambia. We are analyzing, we are a research institute, and we are a voice also for the common Zambian, by providing information for them to understand, for a common Zambian to understand what is government policy and what it means to them on a daily basis. So for me, I think this is it, why you as a young person should be involved in national affairs. Secondly, no one is a best storyteller than yourself. No one is going to talk about the innermost issues of yourself, the things that affect you daily, if you can't express them yourself. So having said that, and having reviewed the national youth policy, and as well as what we are seeing today, that in different institutions and in different government departments, we are seeing young people, well, even amongst the presidential aides, we see young people as well serving. Why? Because it started with sort of a revolution. A young person had to stand up for themselves to take part. And Zambia is a youthful country. It's a youthful nation. We cannot let the old, the tired, to, yes, we value them. We value their wisdom. We have to learn from them. We have to work with them. But at the same time, we have to take the lead, because these matters are concerning the youth. Education concerns a young person. Human rights concerns a young person. The environment is about young people. You want to live in a clean environment, conducive environment that will also speak into your life expectancy. We have health issues. Health issues. Anyone for health matters. You don't have to be a year old or 50 years old. For health facilities must be available to everyone. And as a youth growing up, you need to have the best.
Wearing the hat of a commercial farmer and an entrepreneur, her drive is an inborn passion to bring about change in her community. Bernadette wants to see Zambia become a better place.
My inborn passion for myself and my country. What drives me is waking up, looking at the beautiful environment that God has created, God's creation, and my role in it. I believe I was born, fashioned, designed to be this woman who should at least make a difference in someone's life. So it begins with one person, myself. It begins, and then it extends to those around me, because I cannot be championing for change or championing for better livelihoods if I cannot even be help to those around me, to my family, or to my friends. So it has to start with me and those around me. And that's my drive. My drive is the person that I am, to want to see Zambia and to become a better place, the place that I think God in the beginning designed it to be. And then our forefathers that fought for independence wanted to see freedom of movement, freedom to attain anything that you want. And I think this is such a time where a new generation, where anyone, any girl, a parent is no longer affected by the sex of the child in that hospital. A mother, when they give birth, they say, oh my God, I've given birth to a girl child. Then chances are slim for this child to become president, if that's what you're thinking about. It's no longer the case now. You have a child, it's a child. Any child can be anything, female or male. You can make a difference in Zambia, you can make a difference across the world. You can make a difference in your own life and be what you want to be.
The challenge many young leaders face today is that they are not taken serious. They are not trusted to handle issues of national interest. This confident young lady is not immune to this, especially working as executive director in a big organization at only 30 years old.
As a young leader, I think the most important thing to have and to carry with is discipline. Without that, then you cannot even be close to being a leader. And if you even try to become a leader without discipline, then you will fall. And I like to say this, what Margaret Thatcher once said, especially this is going to young women who are in leadership and who aspire to be in leadership. For a woman, if you really, really have to thrive, then you have to put in your all. From the way you speak, from the way you talk, from the way you communicate, your gestures, your behavior, even when people are not looking. But for a man, they can do anything, and society will overlook that thing, and they will still emerge. But then for a woman, it requires caution. it requires a heart of a mother. It doesn't matter how old you are. Because as a young leader, I have staff who are as old as my father. So automatically, I'm a mother to him. As a young leader, I have peers who are older than me, or others who are younger, but I have to provide leadership. And from the corporate challenges, sometimes you're on the phone and your voice perhaps suggests that you're very young. Hello, my name is Bernadette Deka. I'm calling from PMRC. I wanted to see if we could have a chat over 1, 2, 3 things. Please call me another time. Okay? You know, they get that. Oh, okay, did they just answer me that? Then later on, you meet at a meeting. Oh my God, I didn't know you're the executive director. You know, those kind of things. So we face those kind of challenges from the voice and from being judged that you're not mature enough to make certain decisions or to drive and run an institution in the way that it should be, in the way that it was mandated to. My messages to the young leaders who are already occupying those positions that please do not destroy this for other young people who are coming up by being reckless, by being people that cannot be trusted with authority, by being careless with power. And I think this calls for maturity, this calls for good reasoning, this calls for a natural drive as well. So I think that's what I have to share about leadership and being young.